Welcome back to A Devilish Mind. You already know the drill by now. Another day, another crazy scandal. But this one is aimed at one of the most powerful black creators in Hollywood history, Mr. Tyler Perry. That's right. Tyler Perry is now facing a jaw-dropping $260 million civil lawsuit filed by a man named Derek Dixon. And yes, that is his last name, not a confirmation. You literally can't make this type of content up. Anyways, Derek Dixon claims the legendary director, writer, and mogul sexually harassed and assaulted him while working on Perry's hit shows The Oval and Ruthless. But here's what makes this even crazier. There are no police charges, no criminal case, just a civil demand for hundreds of millions of dollars. So let's break this all the way down, and I want you to tell me in the comments, is this a case of power being abused behind the scenes, or a case of someone trying to manipulate the system for a massive payday? Before we dive in, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to A Devilish Mind, because this is where we separate truth from talk. Tyler Perry, a man who went from being homeless to building a billion-dollar empire. His own studios, his own scripts, his own stage plays. He changed the game for black creatives, no question. But, according to this new lawsuit, that success came with a dark side. Derek Dixon, who worked as an actor on The Oval, claims Perry used his power to create a coercive, sexually exploited dynamic. The lawsuit, filed in Los Angeles, accuses Perry of escalating sexual harassment, assault, battery, and retaliation when Dixon refused to reciprocate his advances. And the numbers? He's suing for $260 million. Let that sink in. Now, Perry's lawyer, Matthew Boyd, is firing back hard, calling this lawsuit a flat-out scam. In his words, this is an individual who got close to Tyler Perry for what now appears to be nothing more than setting up a scam. Tyler will not be shaken down. But the claims in the lawsuit go deep. Dixon says they met at a Tyler Perry Studios event in 2019 when he was working staff. Perry allegedly took notice, offered him an audition, and over time began building a connection. The lawsuit says Perry offered roles on Ruthless, then The Oval, but behind the scenes he allegedly began making sexually suggestive comments, escalating to unwanted advances, and even alleged physical assaults. Perry allegedly told Dixon that if he didn't respond to the innuendos, his character Dale would die in the next season. The lawsuit claims Perry interrogated him about his sexual interests on set, pinned him to a wall, fondled him, and then later apologized, offering Dixon help producing a pilot he was working on, titled Losing It. Dixon says Perry promised him creative control and support, but only as a way to maintain power over him. The lawsuit even accuses Perry of roping Dixon in a guest room bed at his home, climbing into bed uninvited, pulling off Dixon's clothes in a trailer and trying to force himself on him, and afterward offering raises and contracts to allegedly keep Dixon quiet. In Dixon's own words, Mr. Perry provided vulnerable men with acting positions, show contracts, cars, and money, then put them in fear of losing it all unless they engaged in Perry's perverted desires. That's straight from the lawsuit. And it doesn't stop there. Dixon said he ultimately moved from Atlanta to Los Angeles just to put distance between them. But Perry allegedly continued to contact and harass him, and when Dixon filed a complaint with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission in 2024, he says the producers of The Oval still didn't investigate. Dixon ended up quitting the show, and this lawsuit is his retaliation. Let's not sugarcoat it, these are heavy claims. They paint Tyler Perry not just as an abuser of power, but as a calculated predator. But here's the flip side. Where's the criminal case? If all this really happened, why haven't we seen an arrest? Why haven't we seen formal charges? This is a civil suit, and civil suits have one main goal: money. Let's be honest, $260 million for what's described as inappropriate behavior, harassment, and even assault without any criminal charge attached feels like either a massive cover-up is in place, or someone sees a billionaire and smells opportunity. We've seen this before. The formula is familiar. Public figure, allegations, text screenshots, headlines, and behind all that, a check with a whole lot of zeros. Now here's a key point. This is not about defending bad behavior. If Perry did what's being claimed, it's disturbing and disgusting, and he should be held accountable. But at the same time, we have to ask, why now? Dixon appeared in 85 episodes of The Oval. That's not some side role. He was there for years. He took a raise. He took the production opportunity. So was this a long game for justice, or just a slow setup for a payout? The lawsuit says Perry held total control over Dixon's career, roles, raises, whether his character lived or died. If true, that is abuse of power. But if it's not true, then it's one of the most damaging lies ever told about one of the most successful men in entertainment. So I want to hear from you. Do you believe Derek Dixon? Does this sound like the quiet reality of Hollywood finally surfacing? Or does this sound like a personal friendship gone bad, turned into a financial hit job? Now, I will say this, though. I actually read a few of the email interactions between Tyler Perry and Mr. Dixon, and honestly, I didn't find them to be anything more than lighthearted fun. Some of it might be a little flirty, I'll admit, but not to the extent that you could say Tyler Perry was blackmailing him, or threatening him, or trying to use his position of power as leverage to make Derek Dixon feel like he had to give in to any demands, just to keep working on projects. At worst, those messages make Tyler Perry look like a gay man who felt comfortable talking to someone he thought he could joke around and flirt with. But it looks like Derek was out and about with another man. Tyler messaged him in a way I would have messaged my wife back when we were still just talking. Tyler playfully tells Derek that he was jealous seeing the two of them together. Listen, and then you tell me what you think. Here's Tyler. Jealous, you two together. Then Derek replies, I don't know, it's just Brad. And Tyler responds with a simple LOL reply. Now, to me, that feels like Tyler is trying to play it off as a joke, even though there might be some real jealousy there. Then, Derek says, just wanted to go for a quick walk to get some steps in, and now I'm walking to Chipotle by myself, LOL. We can look at that reply from Derek as a little flirty back, like he's giving Tyler the response he knows he wants to hear, almost as if he's trying to reassure him, like, don't worry, there's nothing going on between me and that other guy. Then Tyler seems to take the bait and hits him with what I'd call a nasty buzzard subliminal. Tyler texts back, thick Derek, get that Chipotle. And Derek responds, can you tell from that photo? And that's when Tyler basically jumps out the window and says, no, I can't, only from your jeans. Now come on, we know exactly what these two biscuit heads are referring to. And if you're thinking Derek isn't playing along, well, just look at what he says next. Even though the message is slightly cut off in the screenshot, you can clearly make it out. Derek, the same man who says he was being harassed, or wants to say Tyler was unprofessional and inappropriate, responds with, that's how I measure too. Now let me be clear, I'm not here to attack Tyler Perry or to shame him if he is gay. And I'm definitely not trying to shame Derek Dixon if he's gay. That's their business. Whatever they choose to do in their personal lives is their choice. Both men are adults, so none of that is the issue. But what I really hate is the fact that Derek Dixon is trying to out Tyler Perry as if he's uncomfortable with Tyler being gay or flirting with him, like he's offended, as if he's a straight man with zero interest in Tyler. But from what I see so far, Tyler Perry was doing what a lot of grown adults do. Flirt with someone you think might be into you. Maybe talk a little spicy, thinking the other person is with it and has no problem with it. For me, that's not grounds for a lawsuit or for trying to destroy someone who may have genuinely tried to help you get ahead. And yes, I know that sounded funny. But still, based on how this case is shaping up and the fact that it's a civil suit and not a criminal one, my gut tells me Derek Dixon is just trying to get a set-for-life payday out of someone he thinks would rather write a check than be outed publicly. And asking for a wild amount like $260 million? Come on, man. He knows that's not going to happen. That's just a tactic. So if he ends up with even 20 million, in Derek's mind, it's mission accomplished. But hey, that's just my take on it. We'll see what else comes out of this weirdo story. And if this is the kind of hard-hitting, unfiltered breakdown you need in your feed, smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss what's next. Because trust me, this story is just getting started. Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let's have this discussion.